time for the Loco Sports Lowdown. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett, Wes Kerr, and Max Arraj.
Off by one, Wes taking the night off tonight. Justin Jarrett, Max Arraj, and Marcus Walsh from WHHI-TV sitting in the West chair tonight. And we've got a Wednesday night. I had to look at the day. Wednesday night edition of the Loco Sports Lowdown. It's been a long week already. We've got a good show tonight. We got Misael Garzon going to come on and talk about a big win for his Sharks tonight, Bay River. You may notice I'm breaking the fifth rail. I'm not in the usual spot. I have to watch this basketball game. Texas Xavier game is on. It's going to be a good one. But Misa is going to be coming on to talk about May River boys soccer, which got an impressive win tonight, 7-1 over Richmond Hill, which is a nationally ranked program per Misa's social media, and Misa doesn't tell no lies. So that's pretty impressive. We got to hear more about that, and he'll give us kind of the rundown of the Loco soccer scene. He's got his ears to the ground. He and I are about the same height, so we both have our ears pretty close to the ground as it is. But Marcus, your ears aren't much further from the ground than mine either.
That's right. I completely know what you're talking about there, JJ. No question about it.
You're tracking.
Absolutely.
Going to be a good show tonight. We'll talk about that. We got some headlines as well, some things that I've come across scrolling through the Instagram stories this evening, and I'm sure there's more news out there. I got to scroll the Instagram stories more often. There's a lot of news out there. There's a lot of news out there to be had. I need to waste more time on social media is what I'm saying. And Javon just checked in the chat. Javon has entered the chat. He's watching. We'll have highlights as well, I believe, from Hilton Head Christian JP2 boys soccer tonight, which
big
is a good one
there
on Buford's Own. So good show tonight. How are you boys doing? Marcus
doing
Walsh?
Well. Today was a home business kind of day. Did a little bit of work from home, but took care of some business that I had to take care of in the upcoming next couple of what'd you say? In the upcoming
Coca-Cola.
Oh, I thought you said Ricola for a second. In the upcoming, next month or so, got to make sure to get those taxes in. So I was taking care of some things with that. Made a grocery store run, so it was a business on the home front today for the most part.
Facts, Kevin Libby.
No doubt, Kev. You're
100 emoji. Definitely. Max Arraj, how you doing over there, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm still driving back from Buford. It's been a long few days over at Buford, but it's because baseball season is first games are finally underway this week, and then we got soccer and flag football following behind, along with lacrosse as well. Speaking of flag football, I saw one of the coaches is Chase Olson.
Nice.
So very excited to see him.
That is incredible. We'll have to get Chase on to talk about that,
absolutely.
because Chase is a friend of the show. Tremendous young man.
Great kid.
Yeah, saw him out there, and I was like, "Yo, what's?" He's like, "What's up, Max?" And I was like, "Yo, Chase, you coaching a team?" And he's like, "Yeah, man." I was like, "Oh, that's freaking awesome, man! That's
incredible." Javon is a hater. More of that, kids. If you're not going to play multiple sports, then go coach your sport in your off season in the rec league.
Absolutely.
Or umpire or officiate.
Yes, absolutely.
One or the other. Then, if you're not playing another sport, then in your off season, go and either officiate or coach the rec teams.
And then
that is the way.
Top of that, Hardyville High School's baseball team, their first game is tomorrow, so I'm very excited about that.
Nice.
Getting ready for Bamberg, which
it's going to be a big day in the Ville tomorrow.
Yes, it is.
And a big day for Team Loco in the Ville tomorrow.
Hopefully, and I don't mean to jinx anything here, but hopefully the weather is okay for that, because I know that you guys had a situation last week where you should have played, and
we should be good.
The game got either postponed or outright canceled. It looks like rain from what I saw. I know, but I'm talking about tomorrow. It looks like weather could be a factor.
We'll see.
Occasional showers in the afternoon. Chance of rain 70%. Why'd you bring this into my life, Marcus Walsh? I will say though,
you
field's looking good right now. No, I do.
Gotta know.
I know, but I didn't need to know right this second.
I'm no Maria Soden, but you got to know.
Now I'm going in the wrong direction.
Well, let me rephrase.
Yeah, there's a little chance of a shower around 1 or 2. Looks like I'm going to be packing some stuff up and bringing it in just in case.
Well, let me just say this then, Justin. I am or was excited about our game tomorrow. Thank you very much, Marcus. I appreciate
Although, I will say this. Our game tomorrow is against Bamberg Ehrhardt, which is undoubtedly the favorite to win our region, the team we aspire to beat. And our team is very green and young and getting better every day. And if we didn't get to play this game for a couple more weeks, it would not break my heart or hurt my feelings that much.
And that's what I'm excited about, because we moved one of those games, the away game at Bamberg. We moved it to another date, which I'm very happy about, because I think that gives us enough time to build a team and have them be able to play enough to where it could be a competitive game by the time.
And we're ahead of you guys. I mean, we started ahead of you guys, and I'm in the building, so it's different. So we're ahead of you guys. We're ready to play them, but I don't know that we're ready to compete with them or beat them yet.
I don't know.
We're gonna find out tomorrow. You know, I mean, and that's fine. We're ready for that. But at the same time, like, if you're looking for a silver lining, 2 weeks, a week or 2 delay wouldn't break my heart as a coach either, because I know how much better we're going to be then than we are now.
I will say this. I think my team is ready. I don't know competing wise if we're there yet. We're definitely not there yet, but I think we're getting there, and I think with
they're eager to play, and they need to play. They
need to play. And I think by the time the 31st comes around, I think we can put a good enough, if we have a good game, I think we can be able to compete with them. But we'll see what happens.
We were humbled last night. I feel obliged to say we lost 15-0 to Legacy Christian, and it was more competitive than that in reality, but in the same way wasn't, because they were very classy and took the foot off the gas when it was 11-0. They weren't running anymore. They were stepping off bases to keep the game going, which was all awesome. Max is at the Ville. He is at the Ville, just not in the building per se. He's in there some, but not all day, every day, and hasn't been since fall like I have. So he doesn't have the same pull recruiting wise. But I've been recruiting baseball players right and left. But I was saying, sorry, I lost my train of thought because of Javon. What was I saying?
You were talking about about the matchup coming up, and how, not being able to, maybe not having to play that for 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, no, I had moved on to something else, I think, but now I've lost my train of thought completely. Max, what was I talking about? Look at what you've done, Javon. He is in the Ville. But I've completely lost my train of thought. I lost it. But I had a point I was trying to make. But anyway, Legacy Christian. I have to give Legacy Christian the most props.
That's right.
They
were talking last night.
So classy about just the way they carried themselves. And sportsmanship was phenomenal. I told our girls when we someday get to the point where we're beating the doors off somebody, I'm going to remind you of the way they behaved tonight and the way it made you feel, and we're going to behave the same way. We are talking about each other's teams independently, because he is the varsity baseball assistant coach, and I am the softball head coach. So we have separate teams, but in the same vicinity, same school. But no, Legacy Christian was awesome. They've got a juggernaut little team, and I kind of joked about like their state championship being in the SCACS, the South Carolina Association of Christian Schools, which has a whopping 6 schools in it. So you only got to beat 5 teams to win a state championship, but they win it most years, and you can see why. Really well coached team. Chris Bunton. We don't give them, a lot of publicity because of the league they play in, but or haven't, I should say. But that's a quality ball team, and well coached. And it was a pleasure to have them. And they'll be back March 28th in the Ville. So that'll be fun. Talking about softball, while we wait on Misa to come rolling in here in a few minutes. Talking about softball, we may have. I think we've kind of slept on Colleton County this year because we've seen a lot of talent graduate from that program over the last couple of years. And so I don't know that we were high on May River coming into this season. I don't know that that we were as high on Colleton County coming into the year, and it looks like they're legit this year. They're 5-0. They're whipping up on people. It looks like their next pitcher has come along. They had a couple of years where they had dominant pitching, and then they had a couple of years where they didn't have a pitcher and they had to make someone a pitcher, and then that makes your defense weaker and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it looks like they've got a new young pitcher who's come through, and Max will be back momentarily. But they're trashing people right now. They beat somebody 15-0 tonight. So they come to Bluffton on Friday. I'm hoping maybe I can pop out there, but God, my schedule is insane. But they beat Battery Creek 16-3, swept Columbia badly, beat Woodland 8-1, beat Low Country Leadership 15-0. They haven't played anybody yet, per se, but they are dominating, and so that has me excited about. And that's a great program. They've been really well coached, and Coach Rusty over there, he's been coaching ball for a long time, and does a really good job. And he's not the head coach, and I can't think of the head coach's name at the moment. Been a long week, as I said, but she does a great job, and I have a lot of respect for that program, and I hope in the next couple of years we're good enough to put them on our schedule, because right now we don't need it's not going to help anybody. They're too good for us, but I hope we get there. But yeah, a couple of things that came to my attention that will pull from the headline heap while we're waiting on Max. Some JP2 wrestlers with some impressive accolades. And let me find it here. 6 JP2 wrestlers were awarded the NWCA Scholar Athlete All-American Award for maintaining a GPA of 3.5 or higher. Archer DeWig, Jack Hannigan, Chase LaFountain, Daniel Snyder, Jude Witkowski, and Jace Reynolds. So I'm sure there were others if the other schools, went through the process of applying for it and all that. But I saw that one on social media. So those are the guys we're shouting out tonight. But I'd love to see when our student athletes are truly student athletes and have the high academic scores to go along with their athletic accolades.
No question about it. It's really important. And we talk about these athletes all the time. No matter what season it is, no matter what sport it is, they are dedicated to being on the field, on the court, in the gym, etc. It's a lot just for that alone. And then to be able to put together, homework, study groups, tutoring sessions, because they have extra of those that so many schools do a great job providing
and anymore a lot of them are
the fact that they're doing what they're doing athletically, and they combine it all. It's phenomenal.
A good number of them at this stage, by the time they're sophomores, junior, seniors, they're taking dual enrollment courses, they're taking AP courses, they're earning college credits,
prepping for college, if not
a lot
taking
of them
college
have
credits.
jobs too.
Relationships.
I feel like this generation of kids gets a bad rap, especially having spent a lot of time with them. There are, of course, kids that are positively feral and don't know how to behave in society. There are also tremendous young people who I learn from every day, and that's life, especially in public schools. Of course, there are people who misbehave. There are people who misbehave in every walk of life. But they don't go anywhere, like they come from somewhere. But these kids, the ones who have their heads on straight, are absolutely phenomenal because they have grown up as digital natives and they know how to use all of this technology to simplify their lives. and obviously it complicates our lives in some ways with the social media and stuff. But they understand how to operate in this digital world where they've got AI, they've got apps doing things for them, and they love, they are able to focus on what they want to focus on.
Right.
And the ones that you can inspire to really lean into trying to be great at something, anything, man, they're awesome. They
It
are just
takes,
awesome.
and this took me a long time to learn, you know, being a child growing up that was learning disabled and whatnot, and having to have extra time, in college with tests and that type
Hmm.
of thing. It never stops, no matter how old you are. It takes time management. And
Absolutely.
what you're talking about, JJ, with the
Life
kids doing
skill.
it the right way, using those life skills, using the technology to better their situations with
Yep.
scheduling and organization and all of those things. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And that's why they're able to do as much as they can in this type of a setting where there's more and more stuff being thrown at them. It's tremendous.
Yeah. Kids on Air is the best part of the show because
Yeah,
covering kids is why we love it. Like,
that's
the whole
exactly right.
reason I stayed
We
here and
talked to
covered
so
high
many
schools
of them.
my whole life is because I covered pros and college kids, D1 kids, and it was way more fun to cover the college kids than it was the pros, and it's way more fun to cover the high school kids than it is the college kids
Right.
because you get to know them and appreciate their personalities,
It's
and
more
then
of
you
an
get to
intimate setting.
watch them grow up and go into your community and become leaders. Like
Yeah.
Stephen Page, for example, is a random one, is a kid that I covered years ago at Hilton Head Christian Academy, multi-sport athlete, went off and played in college, came home. He's a big mortgage lender, and
Great
heavily
guy.
involved in the community. A wonderful young man. I got to know him and his dad and his brother, and it's just it's that's what it's all about for me is
Yeah.
the community and seeing how the thing
Community,
we
it's the
love,
relationships.
sports, threads the community together,
Right.
and that's what we love. So, without further ado, we present the presenting sponsor of the show tonight, Mickelson Law Firm, our original sponsor, our all-star sponsor. They can help you with all of your legal needs. They are our official real estate closing attorney and presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. And tonight they also present our guest and Misa, be smiling, Misa Garzon, football analyst, football person.
There
What
he
is up, man?
is.
What's going on, guys? How's it going?
Doing great,
Uh,
Misa. How's your
Muy
bracket
bien.
looking?
I
Have
haven't
you
even.
have you filled one out yet?
I
No
did.
braqueta?
I did it for the Loco Sports one. Don't ask me
Okay.
what I did because I don't keep up with it.
Well, how's your bracket looking? The bracket ain't started yet, Bo.
Doing
So,
great. Perfect. Haven't lost a
yeah,
game yet.
haven't missed
Undefeated.
one yet.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. But Misa, no brackets yet. We're not into the postseason, but you did have a big friendly tonight
Huge.
with a nationally ranked team. I'm curious about some insight into from whence that information comes because there's so many different rankings out there and stuff now. I just want to know the context. But Richmond Hill, you put a touchdown on them, Bo. I thought we was playing football, not football.
Yeah. We got it mixed up tonight, but nah, they're So Georgia uses Max Preps for rankings. South Carolina uses the coaches and Max Preps for a little bit, but we use mostly coaches. So they're 10th nationally in Max Preps. I can tell you about my thoughts on Max Preps rankings, but it's another show for the time.
Well, I think you proved the
We'll
point about
probably
the
have
Max
similar
Preps
thoughts.
rankings
Yeah.
tonight.
So, but this is where the troll Misa comes in. Programs that heavily push Max Preps rankings. I'm like, oh, okay, well, we'll help, we'll support. So that's where that came from. But no, it was a good response by our guys to bounce back after what we felt was a very disappointing game yesterday. Where against Bishop England on the road, we came out very flat in the first half and just looked probably the worst half we've had all year. And then second half, we kind of started playing our game. But when you're down 3-0 on the road against a team like Bishop England, it's hard to catch up. So even though we had chances and we controlled the game second half, we just couldn't score enough goals. So we wanted to make sure that, we responded well. And that was my challenge to the boys. What's our response after a disappointing game where we felt that we shot ourselves in the foot more than the opponent? No disrespect to Bishop England. They're a solid team. They took advantage of the opportunities we gave them and our mistakes and our inability to play our game. But I was curious to see how the response was. Richmond Hill, they 9-1. They've beaten every team comfortably. They're having a really, really strong season, so they're a solid program. So I thought it would be a good challenge. Maybe some folks thought it wasn't a good idea for me to schedule them right after Bishop England in a road game. But you guys know I love tough competition. It gets us ready for the region and road. So they scored first. And then we just kind of said, okay, cool. And then we just scored 7 goals and kind of kept it going. So it was a good response by our boys, to get us ready for what's going to be a really, really strong, solid game Friday night at the Nest against Hilton Head. So, we're just getting ready for that.
No rest for the weary. I mean,
absolutely not.
You had Bishop England last night, Richmond Hill tonight, and you got Hilton Head on Friday. Brother, I regret to ask you because I think I know the answer. Who made your schedule?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where he is. I think it's the same guy that picked my brackets. So who knows how that's going to go. But, so for the last few years, the playoffs in South Carolina have been 3 games in a week. It's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule.
So there's a purpose.
Last year,
I had a feeling there was a purpose.
Yeah, last year we had, by the time we got to the third round against James Allen in the lower state semifinals, we were gassed because we didn't have that much experience playing 3 games. And before they made the official change to expand the playoffs for soccer, my schedule was pretty much done. So once my schedule is done, because my schedule is usually done by July and August, like it's pretty much 95% done. Yeah. And I don't like to tell teams and then back out. Like it's just not happening. So once they said, hey, we're going to add an extra week to soccer and your playoffs will now be Wednesday, Saturday, 2 games a week, I was like, oh, well, we'll be pretty fit. So this is the last week. We have 3 games. If you look at our schedule, we've had 3 games for every week since the season started. And this is the last week. So starting next week, we'll have 2 games. We were supposed to play Benedictine on April 12th, but they backed out already early enough. So we'll have 2 games from here on out the rest of the way, which should help us with our fitness and our sharpness and just getting the experience. And again, we're a new team. If you look at my roster from last year, this year, we have a ton of new players. So it's been good to see us grow. But yeah, Libby, I did say that. I said that. And then Javon, I love a strong schedule. Not that I don't care about our record because I do care about winning, but if I feel it'll help us in the long run, the playoffs in the region, then I'm okay playing Ashley Ridge and Richmond Hill and Riverside and Malden and all these ranked teams and, just getting us ready because that's the best way we'll learn. Play the best and you'll see what you stack up to. So we still have, we got Hilton Head. Our region is competitive. We have Oceanside that's coming to us this year. We have Gatlinburg Pittman from Tennessee coming down to us this year. So we have a few games that, should be competitive and help us. So, hey, it is what it is, man. Iron sharpens iron. We'll go do what we got to do.
Oof.
Yep.
Yeah, she's barking at something.
Yeah.
I think she heard Javon in the broadcast and she started barking at him. So
she heard you scored 7 goals and she got excited. Speaking of Javon, and while we have the football person, shall we check out the highlights from the JP2 Hilton Head Christian boys tonight?
1-0, right? Was it a
1-0 indeed?
Yeah, close game.
I think Max is awaiting in the green room. He can join us at any time. Come on in, buddy.
Hey.
What's up, Max?
I'm imagining like a meme of like a man staring through the window. Like Max is sitting in there like, let me in. All right, we got the highlights presented by Mickelson Law Firm, our presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage, with the audio from our boy A big save from Javon.
It's a nice
Javon calling soccer is the energy I need. Javon makes soccer better. He just needs somebody else to talk to him when it's slow.
They keep
Javon, send me your soccer schedule. I'll see if I can fit a game in with you.
Here we go.
So we don't have 3 games every week now.
0-1 to first.
That's what we need.
A 4-2 win over.
We need some color commentary.
That is the impressive.
I agree with you. So it's a really well
opportunity there.
Been a little bit, out of the way towards the parking lot here.
Maybe we'll catch him singing at some point.
A contested matchup here, still nil.
Ooh, that's a nice boot. Oh, that's on goal.
Ball coming in close right after I said that. You want to talk boast the winning record?
That was a hell of a free kick.
Interested in some coverage, and then would like to come out to some games and check them out in person. We'd love to have you here.
Ooh,
nice save right there from Ian Kelly. Sports, and you see something.
Ian Kelly's in goal.
Yeah, he's goalie this year because he's doing the football thing. So he's doesn't risk injury.
So he doesn't want to risk injury.
Look at him.
Kicks it out.
Holy
to the other side of the pitch. You want to talk?
He's got such speed.
There he is.
All the way out
there
goal
it
and
is.
kicks it
My
out
God.
to the other side of the pitch.
What a weapon.
Effort.
He might score a goal this year from goal.
Could
you imagine if he scored on a goal kick?
He should just do a throwback to the 1994 Colombian goalkeeper, Rene Higuita, who would dribble out of the goal and attack.
Oh, there it is.
And our first goal of
the only goal. That was the game winner. We didn't catch who scored that goal.
And another opportunity there for Hilton Head Christian.
Oh, put it in the side.
And on the side of the goal.
Thought he had the angle.
Have to move our camera back over in case
he probably should have gone far post there, right?
Of that second half there.
Keeper had committed.
Moved it over.
Trying to understand the sport better.
It over just a little bit.
I love spending time with Los Canes.
Hey, congrats to them. They got their first regional win last night, 7-1.
Sure did. 7-1.
Oh, that's awesome.
Break stock is now
everywhere. Yeah, they won. Ridgeland won, I think 6-5 or something.
And we were down several starters too, so it was good.
Blake, let me see what Rayleigh says. March 31st. Let me see my schedule.
Kelly, the kick from the middle.
Man, he's a weapon. When he takes those free kicks, and you can get away with it because he kicks it so deep, there's no chance of them having a counter.
March 31st.
That's crazy work.
Yeah, I'm looking at March 31st. Rayleigh's trying to get us out there.
Oh, there he says, yeah.
Yeah, well, we won't be there.
HHC at HVL, Max and Garzon in the booth. I like it.
I won't, because
you got a game.
Me and Justin will.
It would also help if Javon knew the rules.
I might be able to make it that Monday, Javon, if you're doing that game.
Yeah, I think Rayleigh forgot we moved the game to the 31st. We're at Bamberg.
Oh, we're not on the road then, though. We don't play them the same day.
Really?
I'm available.
We're at home against Hampton.
We play Colleton Tuesday at Colleton, so I'll be available that night. As long as we get food, Rayleigh. I won't do it if we don't get food.
Wait, Justin, y'all didn't move to the 31st then?
No, we're April 16th.
Oh.
Can't tell you why, but
I like how Marcus and I are just, we on the coaches meeting right now.
Didn't agree on the same date. That's how things happen.
Yeah, Christian Academy, good game with John Paul. They're having a really good season. Christian Academy, the boys, really strong. So it helps me have somebody like Ian Kelly in goal. Ian is a winger. He's a really good soccer player, but he's really committed to go the football route. So he's playing in goal just to protect his future. No surprise there, but it's been a solid
concession. Stand that.
It's been a solid spring season so far for the Loco teams on the boys and girls side. So I know Friday we have, I think Hardyville and Roll Out Oaks play tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. In soccer, that should be a good matchup if they play tomorrow or Friday. And
I think it's Friday.
Is it Friday? Then we go to Hilton Head Friday. Girls are at May River. Hilton Head girls are at May River Friday. I think Bluffton plays. We should. Yeah, really. Give me a stipend.
Friday for Royal.
Marcus, we should all get $20 for sitting in this coaches meeting we just sat through about scheduling.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. Our stipend schedule's not very steep.
Yeah, it's true.
not.
It's not much better in Beaufort, but it's not very steep over there either.
That's another show for another time. The coaching pay around
sure
here.
is. Sure is. But
I could see that
so,
on Friday.
So the region, on the boys' side, I guess it would look like Bishop England has kind of flexed the early muscle, but it doesn't seem like they're unbeatable. It seems like the second time through the table, things could still really get shaken up, and it seems like almost every matchup, Colleton with a nice win, right? Over Beaufort.
So I think I have to check the history, and I meant to ask Coach Reed this today, but I forgot. I don't remember the last time Colleton won a region game for boys soccer.
Me neither.
And that was like when I was at Beaufort and they were in our region. That might actually be the first region, which is huge.
That was huge.
They this year when we played them, the scoreline doesn't show it and the stats don't show it, but they have been getting better. They move the ball well. They try and attack and everything. So kudos to them. We know Beaufort's in a complete rebuild year this year. They lost a lot of players from last year's team and a new coaching staff and everything. But right now, Bishop England, I know they played Beaufort tonight. I'm going to guess they won, just to know the score. I haven't looked it up. But yeah, the region's going to be close. Hilton Head lost to Bishop England at Bishop England 1-0 last week. We lost them on the road. They haven't been on the road yet, except for tonight. And then I think Hilton I think they play either Bluffton next Tuesday. I believe Bishop England does at Bluffton, if I'm not mistaken. So it'll be close like every year with this region. That just seems to be the curse of Region 6. It's just going to be for soccer just a toss up, but it'll be good.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Yeah, almost every match could go either way. And we don't do ties, right? We do PKs, which I hate. I wish we did ties.
We talked about that a couple of weeks ago.
South Carolina, even non-region games, South Carolina does not like ties because the people who make the decisions don't know what that is, and they think it affects the football programs and basketball programs.
Half a win and a half a loss.
Yeah. So, I think it should be ties in non-region just to start, and then they can see that it's not the end of the world. As we know it when that happens, but it has to be a winner.
It's not a zero-sum game in soccer. Like a tie is a well-earned result. Like I get that, and I didn't for a while, but I definitely do now. Again, I grew up in a town in Kansas where there was no soccer in my 18 years there. Soccer did not exist. It does now, but it didn't then. No organized soccer, I should say.
Yeah.
We played Rambo soccer on the playground, but the goals were past the trailer on that end and the fence line on that end and the height of the tallest goalie, and you could have unlimited goalies. So we recruited as many first graders and kindergartners as we could to be goalies and lined up an army of midgets, and you couldn't shoot it over their head. Oh, Lord. That was my knowledge of soccer. That and whatever I saw on television until,
By the way, did you guys
college.
see that USL is doing promotion relegation in
3
years?
Really?
They're going to try that model over there. A true promotion relegation model for professional soccer.
Okay.
Fun.
I like that.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So
I like that. Like MLS?
No, the USL is the United Soccer League.
USL.
Competition league. So they're trying to get a Division I program like MLS, like the same level. And then they have USL Championship, which is the second division. And then they have USL 1, which is the third division. So they're going to do promotion relegation between the divisions. So that way it can create a model like
I like it. I like it. I'm for that kind of thing.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
I'm for. Oh, Max, your sound has gone bad, buddy. It's all echoey, but Max will rejoin us shortly. I assure you.
Or will he?
He will. Well, I mean, unless he's in the upside down, that might have been him trying to, communicate from the upside down. He's back. I told you he would be back.
Is it working?
There we go.
Oh,
yeah. What was you gonna say?
I was gonna ask. Have we talked about May River softball score?
Did y'all see the score tonight?
I just found it, and it's
They
scored 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, they obliterated them.
Whoa.
England.
Yeah, that's too many for me, honestly. I talked earlier about Legacy Christian and what they did last night. All you gotta do is step off the base, and we can flip the inning over.
Yeah, but I mean,
I know
21-0 over Bishop England, and then they won. What was it?
Well, Bishop England's not good in softball.
No, but they beat
They're
James
good
Island.
at almost every. No, May River's legit. I ain't.
Yeah,
I
think we beat James Island. What was it, 14-2 max the other day?
Yeah, something like that. Like,
and it was a 5-inning mercy rule. So, like,
do you want to make a predicament as to how far May River softball goes this year in the lower states? Because I just have.
I think they have a really quality team. They're exceptionally well coached. Coach Hess is tremendous. And they have a really good coaching staff around her, and they're good.
I think they have a real shot at lower state finals.
I'll say this is a 21-0. I'm not a guy who normally blows teams out just because. But it's Bishop England.
Yeah, fair.
It is Bishop England.
I have a personal policy as a baseball softball coach that I don't want to score 20. I just don't. I don't want to score 20.
Yeah.
I get that from Coach Jackson.
Coach Jackson leave a couple for tomorrow.
Coach Jackson walks off bases at 19. He doesn't go to 20. And but also it matters how it happened, right? Like
absolutely.
So when were the runs scored? Who was still playing? How many subs were in the game? Like it's more complicated than just you scored 21. No. So I'm not throwing shade. I'm just 21 just makes me cringe because like 19 is the number
I don't disagree with you.
But they got everybody in the game. They scored 10 in the first. You can score as many as you want in the first. The other team ain't batted yet. You can score as many as you want.
Right.
And then they scored 6, so it was 16-0. And then they scored 5, and they might have stepped off bases at that point, for all I know.
I'm gonna look it up here.
They started stepping off bases. So I retract any statement. The 21 happened because the bases were loaded and a girl hit a double. You can't do nothing about that.
Yeah.
No disrespect no harm was done.
I have a personal cutoff policy, like a goal max that I allow my teams.
Yeah.
And the only time I change that is situational. So like if like it's a strong team,
right?
Then yeah, but or if it's a situation where like,
or if you're being jerks,
yeah, like something's going on where
sometimes you need to send a message.
Like I am big on my limit is 10, so I usually go 10. Like 10 is the max. We're good.
Also a caveat for they did it to us before.
Yeah.
By the way, the other reason they scored as many runs as they did is probably because of the fact Bishop England had 10 errors in the game.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do about that. There's nothing you can do about that. Like I said, it matters when the runs were scored and how the runs were scored and how it was handled.
21 runs on 9 hits.
And look, I don't know what the mercy rule is in softball.
21 on 9.
It's 15 after 3, 10 after 5.
Okay,
but then they also throw a ridiculous. Our umpires have been giving us an hour and a half time limit, which I don't think is the rules. I think it's 2 hours.
Yeah.
And so we can't get through more than 4 innings anyway. I don't know how we would ever get to 5.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I don't understand.
It's a long ride, so we can get out there and get out back quickly. I'm here for it.
Well, our umpires are out of Orangeburg assigners, which makes 0 sense.
Why? Okay.
I mean, Bamberg and Allendale are in our league, so but still, it doesn't make sense that it's out of Orangeburg.
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Why we don't have umpires from Bluffton coming out to this game.
Yeah, me neither.
Honestly.
That doesn't make any sense.
Honestly, I think last night's umpires were a combined 155 years old at least.
With one being 100?
2 umpires.
Oh, 2 umpires, yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, we had old Hammerhead. You know him from basketball.
Yeah.
Used to. He can't do basketball anymore because of his heart so he's relegated to baseball and
so
softball.
he does baseball instead. Yeah, baseball and softball.
Yeah, we need some. That, as I said earlier, young people, please, former baseball and softball players, please come out and officiate.
I got younger umpires.
We need some new life in the
And like
officiating crew.
I
And
don't
again, I only throw sunshine. I ain't throwing shade. I appreciate these old timers who are still coming out and doing it because they know somebody got to do it and they love it. But we need some younger people to take.
And like I don't think people realize that you make decent money,
yeah.
refereeing. Like it's especially high school and middle school games because you get mileage. Like you make decent money. Like it's
as
not
soon
like
as the rest of my hair falls out from coaching, I'm going to umpire, and I promise you that.
Yeah, like it's like I ref travel league for soccer, and it's not bad money. But when I see like how much the referees get paid for like high school, it's not bad money at all. Like,
no,
it's a nice night out. Like
especially if you can change the rules to an hour and a half time limit.
Like for me, like the parents don't bother me as much when I'm refereeing because I'm so used to it. It doesn't faze me. Like I don't get easily bothered by it. Like
I would just laugh it off. I think.
Yeah, if it's starting to get out of line,
it's such clownish behavior.
Yeah, like if it's starting to get out of line, say something. But like I'm not here like triggered. Like oh my gosh, you spoke to me. Get out. I can't coach. Like, but
no,
like,
I'm just gonna write a book about all the things that were said to me when I do it.
It's good money. Like it's good money. It's good exercise for you to stay.
It's good vibes.
Yeah,
if you come at it with the right mentality. And here's a beef that I have: I cannot stand an official or umpire who brings an antagonistic attitude to the pregame meeting. That is inappropriate, and there's no place for it. We are there in the spirit of sportsmanship to discuss the ground rules and exchange pleasantries and get the game started. And when you come at me with, listen, I don't want to hear nothing, and if you do, you'll watch it from the parking. Get out of here, man. I don't want to hear none of that. And also, in our particular situation, like there needs to be some empathy. We've got umpires who are like yelling at our middle school kids for not knowing what they're supposed to do when they have literally never played a game of softball before. Help them learn the game.
Right.
Don't antagonize them. And so that's my soapbox for the night on officiating.
It's different when you're talking about college kids,
right?
Or certainly professionals. But having that approach against, especially like middle school kids, like you said.
No, I'm talking about travel ball tournaments too.
And that too, travel ball tournaments, middle school kids, regular season, that type of thing. Yeah.
Granted, those travel ball tournaments, those can get heated. But I think part of the reason why they can get heated is because of that kind of attitude. Like, people reflect the energy you're putting out. And when you come up there Aggie, I'm going to get a little Aggie too. Oh, yeah. And if you come up there being a cool dude, then I'm going to be a cool dude.
Right.
So let's all be cool dudes.
And I think sometimes like umpires forget, especially when it comes to travel and younger programs, or even like an upstart program like Hard to Go Softball or these small programs try to do something. It's development, right? And so like,
and you have an important role in that.
Yeah, like the kids have to learn how to adapt and adjust to what the umpire is or isn't calling, referee isn't calling. So like yesterday in our game at Bishop England, we had a 2-ref system. They did an amazing job, but they set the tone early on what they were and were not going to allow. And so when our players would get frustrated about something, I'll say, guys, they already told you what they are, like not so much saying verbally like we won't allow this, but hey, that's a foul. Right. And we call it every time on both sides. And that's part of development because you as a player, you have to learn to adapt to the environment.
Control the controllables and adapt to the uncontrollables.
Exactly. And so like just like you can't control the field quality or the opponent, same thing with umpires and referees. And I think sometimes like one thing I've learned with refereeing on the travel soccer side is that, hey man, we are just as important in this development aspect of these players and young people's lives as the coach or the teammates or the assistant coaches or the trainer. And like once you go in that mindset, at least for me, it changes my dynamic because have a good time first and foremost. But at the same time, this is not the World Cup. I'm not getting paid thousands of dollars to do this. Like I'm getting for a U15 game, I'm maybe getting $40-50 to do it. And it might be the field where it's not bad, but like be mindful that these are kids learning and these are life lessons. Like how do you adapt to a person who has the authority that may make it more difficult for you to be successful? How do we adapt to that? I think sometimes
right.
people just forget because of other experiences, or we go in like Justin said, and I'm already assuming it's going to be a bad game, and are you guys going to piss me off? If you're having that bad of a day, just don't show up. Just
100.
Well, please show up because.
No, that's true. Show up, but
it's a bummer when the refs don't show up and we don't get to play.
Of officials anyway, we don't.
Although we do have Papa Ortiz, who's always lingering behind our backstop, who calls a really good game, and he's not certified, but he calls a really good game, and I promise you, he ain't cheating the home team. He's going to give them the other team every close call, even the ones he ought to give us. But Javon, I'm with you. Help learn the game part. In baseball and softball particularly, I really appreciate an umpire who helps the kids understand the why. I also appreciate an umpire who rewards the kids who do what we train them to do and doesn't reward kids for not, or doesn't penalize kids for doing things we've trained them not to do. So, for example, don't call that high strike. We have been telling them not to swing at that pitch their whole lives. Stop giving the pitcher that pitch. Give the pitcher the pitch at the knees, because we've been training them to throw it there their entire lives. And when they throw it where they're supposed to throw it, they should get the call. Okay? So if you're going to give some leeway, give it down, not up.
Yeah.
That's my suggestion to umpires who are trying to get it right.
And even like when you add the dynamic of parent behavior, because you can't control that to a certain extent, it's teaching the players how to adapt to that and how to adjust. When you're not listening to them, and they're not like, as a coach, as a player, as a referee, I've seen environments where you can feel the dynamic change because of the parents or the spectators, and whether it's good or bad. Yes, and so like I love a referee that will come and say, or to the player, or tell me, hey, this is why the player got a yellow card, or this is the foul. This is why I called it. And it's
just
not
explain
so much,
it, communicate.
Yes. And even like players are human. They're gonna get frustrated, but don't take it so personal where it's like, oh, I've had enough. Here's a card, or here's a warning, or a technical, or whatever you want to, whatever sport it is.
Yeah, don't crash out.
Yeah, and then just makes the environment more hostile, where it's like, no, we can still control. Like last night, we scored a goal at the end of the game. The guy who scored a goal, Lasso, and when he's going to get the ball, he kicks the ball in the goal out of, just kicks it and picks it up. Ref gives him a yellow. Didn't agree with it, but we asked the ref, like, hey, what's the deal? Well, that could be taunting. I know the game's almost over, but I don't want him to think that's okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
He told the player that. I said, you know what? Fair enough. Yeah, like fair enough. And I told my guys, look, guys, if before you get frustrated at referees, let's first figure out who gets the first frustration. Why did we lose tonight? We played bad. We did a bad job. We did not do what we were supposed to do.
Right.
So once we get past us and our frustration, what we did and didn't do right, let's see if we have enough energy to now focus on referees, because they didn't cost us the game. They're not the ones that gave up the goals. They're not the ones that turned the ball over. They're not the ones that made the mistakes. And sometimes referees are not the best, but at the same time, I've had one situation in my high school coaching career where the referee impacted the outcome of the game.
Right. And it's very rare. Rare.
Coached over 100 games in my career as a high school coach, JV and varsity. One out of maybe 165, 200 games. The percentage is so low. Why am I going to focus on that and teach my players that dynamic of, hey, it's all good? And so I always have to remember as a coach that this is development. The players are going to react on what I see. My parents are going to react on what I see. If they see me get frustrated at the referee or going at them, they're going to react, because now they say, well, coach is doing it. We need to have his back. So
it's really important that we as coaches reinforce that to the kids too, because a lot of them are going to go get in the car, and all the way home, all they're going to hear is how bad those refs or umps sucked and how they cheated us. And they need to know that it's not true. That's not what happened. And I've already had the talk after a couple of post-game talks where I said, look, I know you think that every bad call went against us, but it didn't. I remember a pitch that bounced in front of the plate that we got for a strike. You don't remember that, do you? because you don't notice it when it doesn't go against us, or you go,
That's exactly right.
Oh, and you smile. We got one. But you forget about it. You remember the ones that go against us. And also, by the way, 80% of the ones you think went against us, they were good calls. You're wrong. It was a good call. And so we're just done with that. It is what it is. It impacts both teams. It comes out in the wash. I've watched sports and participated in it in some way or another my entire life for 47 years. It comes out in the wash. Like you said, once out of 1,000, the officiating actually impacts the outcome. But even then, there were things you could have done that would have prevented the officiating from impacting the outcome.
Yeah.
You could change the outcome yourself.
In the emotion of the game, you can express yourself in a way where you're not disrespectful or put the umpire referee in a situation where now they have to defend themselves and assert their authority, because it has happened.
Right.
And that's
the reason they have to is because they're setting a precedent every time they do or don't make a call.
Yeah. So like tonight, a foul was called against us that we thought wasn't a foul. And I said, that's not a foul. But guess what? When the other team did the same exact foul,
it was a foul.
Because he already set the tone.
Tonight, it's a foul.
Yeah, like this was
it's
a
like
foul.
The strike zone.
So it happened. And so I told my players, hey, he's let us know what he's calling. He's calling that tonight, guys. So let's adjust to that so don't get frustrated.
Yeah, like how more direct does he have to be?
Yeah, and
same thing with the strike zone, man. Like you just watched 3 girls get punched out on the same pitch. How are you not going to swing at that pitch with 2 strikes?
And like
watch the game.
And sometimes like we forget that
how quickly
referees are human. And so like when I meet with my parents at the beginning of the season, like I have a expectation. And I tell them, your kids are going to make a bunch of mistakes in the game.
Yep.
If you start,
I'm going to make a bunch of mistakes.
I'm going to make a bad substitution. I'll make a bad rotation change. I'm going to have a bad game plan. It's going to work. But if
nothing's perfect.
Exactly.
Right.
If you start treating the referee or the umpire in a certain way, are you okay with someone else from a random person? I will call Marcus Walsh to FaceTime me, and I will put him on the speaker in the stadium to berate your kid.
Tell everybody how bad you are.
He makes a mistake. And Marcus doesn't know this kid from the kid next door to his house.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that? Because if you're not, you're doing the same exact thing. And even if it's referees, you know, like it's
and they don't realize it. Is the thing.
And that's the thing. And it's, you know, it goes into a bigger societal issue because now we have to react to everything, and it's always the best of the worst. There isn't any nuance anymore.
Oh my God, you're right.
But like with in this area, like soccer has 35 referees in this area. How many games did we have this week already in soccer in our area between JV and varsity boys and girls middle school? And you have 35 men and women who have said, I am going to do the best I can here, but I am going to be burned out because I've had to referee 4 games this week every day.
Yeah.
Because none of the referees. And so like it's staying consistent. Like I yell at referees, not yell, I argue with them about things, but the referees here know me enough to know that I'm going to be like, all right, Misa, you let it out, you're good, go on. Even yesterday in Charleston, referee, I was like, hey, Derek, what was that call? Why would you do it? And he told me, and I was like, okay, fair enough. I appreciate you coming and talk to me, and moved on. Because why make things hostile? Like, why?
Yeah. And with umpires, the thing you can't do is bark at them from the dugout. You got to call time and go talk to them. They do not like to get put on blast. They do not care for that. And
that doesn't matter what level it is.
Yeah,
we see it all the time in major leagues.
I mean, you can get away with little chirps here and there, like, man, we got to have that one and stuff like that, or you know, like on a borderline strike. You can get away with a little stuff, but you can't push it too much. And certainly, if you're questioning a call, you got to call timeout and go to them, because if you start trying to talk to them from distance, they do not want an audience.
You also got to know who you're dealing with as well. Like, you
100%. And that's why the home plate meeting is so important, and the tone of it. And I don't understand why they bring anger to it. It's ugly when they do.
Well, the worst.
Not all of them do, but some of them do.
The worst is when an umpire says, "I've ejected this many people over my time."
We had one of those in wrestling season. Well, we have one of those.
I'm like,
every wrestling.
That's how you want to start a
He
conversation.
comes in and starts the coaches meeting by telling you, I've still got the record for the most middle school wrestling coaches ejected in the state of Illinois. It's like, get out of here, bro.
Who cares?
Just go.
First and foremost.
You just go eat bad food and watch football or something, man. Like, you don't need to be here. But yeah, I love when an MLB ump tosses a manager for something. A fan of the dugout.
Oh, I've seen, yeah.
So I've been run twice. The first one I earned.
I think it was last season, Aaron Boone.
It was.
Aaron
the
Boone got
Yankees
ejected
game.
last season for that. A fan right behind
very
the dugout
early
screamed something, and the umpire threw Aaron Boone out. It was hilarious to watch.
He's like, it wasn't me.
Aaron Boone was like, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
I remember that one.
It was
him. Yeah.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, so
my first year managing All-Stars and 8 and under, I got one. I earned it. I mean, the guy earned my wrath, definitely, and there was going to be a if I had understood the protest process. All right, so I got upset. All my kids were crying. Like, we were literally getting cheated in this game, Misa. Like, it was my one where the umpires actually did cheat us, and one umpire did. And I finally went and talked to the home plate umpire, rest in peace, Bud Sullivan, and said, man, I don't know what's going on, but your boys got it in for us. Like, this is crazy. And he's like, I know, coach, but it ain't going to change. It ain't going to change about the call. And so then I crashed out. And on my way back to the first base coaching box, I pointed at the other umpire and I said, you have cost us 6 runs tonight, which was factual statement. And I said it out loud, and Bud sent me. And so what I know now, but I didn't in that moment, was that I needed to file a protest before I left the field. Because there was an egregiously bad call. He called a runner out for sliding into first, which was not prohibited by the rules, and B, he was ducking a high throw, and the first baseman was coming up the line, and he was ducking, and he stumbled into the bag. So he ended up on second, and we ended up down 1 run with 1 out, and then they told us that he was out for sliding into first base. And actually, I think we were down 2 runs at that. No, we were down 1. Yeah, we were down 1, and it put the tying run on second base, right, with 1 out. And he tells me that he's out, and we ended up losing that game by 1 run. And if I had filed a protest before I left the field, we had met and we were going to replay the game from that point.
Oh, really?
But I was told to leave, so I left, and no one knew to file a protest. And so after a resolution was agreed to that we would resume the game, somebody said, wait, did you file a formal protest? And I said, did I what now? And that was that. So that was the first time I got ejected. The second time was not my fault. I will contend it was not my fault. It was Rabbit Ears, and this is one of my favorite umpires that we've ever encountered. It was a Shipyard. And I said before the game to our boys, look, I know we've had some tough luck with umpires here in the past, especially in championship games, because we've had a couple that we would have won the game if it was played exactly the same way and they didn't make a call. Like, it was that kind of game. Now, we still could have won that game by doing other things. So I'm not saying they changed the outcome, but they influenced it a bit. And I said, we're not gonna have no problems today. We got John. This young guy is good. We're gonna be good today. And then the young guy behind the plate blew 2 in the first inning. I mean, blew. And so I say, so we give up a bunch, like 3 or 4 runs in the first inning, and should have been out of the inning twice, but this man was missing them. So they come off the field, and I'm like, hey, right here on me. And I'm like, I know I told you that the umpires were going to be good today. I know they missed a couple, but it's okay. You know, we're going to be fine. I said, we're not going to let this joker impact the game. We're going to win this game anyway. And that man, John, that I vouched for, comes running in from the field and goes, you're gone. And I said, what? And he said, you called him a joker. That's BS. But he didn't say BS. And he ran me, and I said, dude, I've called every one of these kids a joker today. I was just looking for a word, and that was the first one that came to my mind. Joker in my vernacular is not like a slur of any kind. Like, you got to be kidding me. It was just a pronoun. And he's like, no, man, that's crap. You're gone. And I'm like, what in the world? So I got to watch the rest of the inning from up at the top of the hill, and then Greg drove me out to the parking lot. Well, because he let me sit up there so he could go talk to John and see if John would let me just sit up on the hill and watch. But he said, nope, he got to go. So I went and got me an Italian ice and sat by the river and watched Game Changer for the rest of the game. It's been about 4 years since I've been run, so I think I might be in the clear.
I've only been rejected once my whole career. And it was a club game. It was a tournament in Aiken. I will never forget it. We're in the semifinal. We're up 4-1. I forgot what happened, but I'm arguing with the referee because it was an egregious. I think one of my players got like tackled from behind when the ball wasn't even close. He didn't call the foul or something. And I'm like, ref, you got to do a better job. And there's a ref behind me at midfield who's refereeing the next game. And he tosses me. Like, he's got to get a red card.
What? You're not even my ref, bro.
I'm like,
you can't do that.
Who are you? You have no authority in this game. Well, he turns out he's the ref.
I wasn't talking to you.
And so he gets me tossed. So I go protest with the tournament, like, hey, man, because I'm the only coach that weekend. So I'm the only coach on record. So because I got ejected, I was suspended for the next game. We end up not making the final. So I go to, I was like, hey, man, like, the referee's not even refereeing this game, and he's the one that tossed me. And the other referee said, hey, he tossed you, got to go. Like, what the heck?
No, he has no authority in that game.
And the tournament director's like, he's like, well, coach, we can't change that. You know, I'm sorry, but your team's eliminated. I'm like, dude, come to find out, unbeknownst to me, I got eliminated. My team got eliminated. Well, the team that was going to make it because we got eliminated was the team from the local club hosting the tournament.
No.
The tournament director. So we had already beaten them.
You got
hosed. So I was like, okay.
You got hosed big time.
And this is like years ago. This is way younger.
That is bull freaking you know what.
Not as calm.
Wow.
Even killed me.
That's a real thing in baseball too, because a lot of times the tournament's being hosted by a guy, or is being run by a guy who's got a team in the tournament, and he's the one who's paying the umpires, and that's always a dicey situation.
That was so. After that, I was like, okay, this is crap. This is whatever. So then he's like, well, coach, I can get you a game tomorrow. You know, a third place. I said, dude, you give me a third place game, and you guys are gonna be embarrassed. And we ended up putting like 15 goals in the team, just to prove a point. Just like whatever. I don't care.
Was it against the host team?
No. They went to the final. We beat them 6-0 earlier in the tournament, but they went to the final because they were third. They finished third and so whatnot. But that was the only time I got tossed. I've had yellows. I've had a few warnings, but
also the last time you went without a second coach on the roster.
Oh yeah. From there on, I put an assistant coach, which is parent. Like, hey, yeah, Marcus Walsh is my coach. Where is he? He's a parent on the other side, but if I get tossed, he's going to come over and coach for me just so we make sure we're not good. So
he's our Nate. He's our Nate.
I don't have enough coaching experience yet to be ejected, but I have been ejected as a player twice.
Oh, that's worse.
Yeah, I never got a red card as a player.
It's hard to get ejected as a player.
Well, unless you're dealing with high school umpires who don't know what they're doing.
It ain't the umpires. It's your mouth, buddy. No matter what they did, you had a choice to close that thing.
I decided not to, and I got myself into trouble a couple times during my high school years.
Yeah, I've sensed that is a recurring theme for you. You don't always filter. I have a much better filter than I did at your age. Maybe yours will grow in.
I think the funniest threat,
still not a great one, but it's better.
I think the funniest threat I ever got to get ejected, and it was kind of funny, but we were playing Bishop England. I think it was my first year at Mid River, and we went to Bishop England. And one of my players got a yellow card and a red card. And the referee had mistaken identity because the player he gave the red card, he thought it was the same player he gave a yellow card to earlier in the game.
Oh.
I'm telling the ref, like, ref, it's the wrong player. So I said, you got the wrong brown kid. It's the other guy on my team who got the yellow. And the ref ran and lost his mind. Fair enough. Like I didn't mean to say it in a I wasn't trying to say he was being racist.
I am not a racist, sir. Yellow card.
Yeah, he went, I'm not, you can't, I'm not being racist. I said, no, I'm just telling you it was this brown player, not that brown guy. Like and he is like, coach, one more thing you get ejected. And we're like, ref, I'm telling you, it's the wrong player. You can't say something. You're accusing me of being racist. No, I'm just saying you think we all look alike. And I'm just trying to help you. That was like, and after fight, I was like,
but no, seriously, like if there are only 2 black kids on the field, and you saw it from behind, and in your mind's eye, you're like, I know it was one of the black kids, and you thought it was him. Like that can happen. Like so, like you were just correcting him.
Yeah, and
but I think in general, my people
would you not write down the number?
Very sensitive.
Yes, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Definitely.
You should write down the number.
I do think in general, my people are very sensitive when people talk about skin color, and it's hilarious to me because black and brown people are not sensitive at all about that, and describe each other as light skin and dark skin and things like that. So I always crack up when white people are weird about it.
Yeah, no, that was the funniest one I had. I was like, oh well, and it was funny because we were down 1-0 at that point, and we ended up losing finally because we were playing with man down against Bishop England. And it was like, all right, whatever. Like, it is what it is. Then he ejected the fan because the fan said that's the wrong player. And I was like, all right, it's a power trip now.
Oh, my gosh.
And he was like, he made us.
Somebody got rejected from the police academy.
Yeah. So, like, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, you have good ones, you have not so good ones. But guess what? We can't play the game without them. So, might as well tolerate them.
Amen to that. And they definitely add something. Oh my gosh, how long has Javon been waiting in the green?
Oh my gosh, you just maxed.
Oh, poor Javon,
how long you been down there, buddy?
You been there, man?
Staring in the windows.
Get in here,
What's
man.
Up?
What's up, dude?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
You know what? I'm about to read some sponsors and leave the sandbox to you guys for the late shift because I'm wiped out. But Javon's definitely got hot takes, and we'll let Mad Max take the midnight shift. Mad Max and Marcus on the midnight shift with Javon as late as they want to go. But shouting out some sponsors real quick. We got Hudson Seafood House on the docks back in the Loco Booster Club. Great place for seafood, sunsets, and cocktails on Hilton Head Island. And presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. New episode aired earlier tonight, so you can hear all about the brackets with Bob Stevens, Curry Kirkpatrick, and Rich Vasirico. They went through all their picks and, fussed and argued and threw a bunch of people under the bus. Also, new sponsor, Hilton Head Furniture. Great furniture made up in Hickory, North Carolina, and brought to Hilton Head to put in your house and keep it there for a long time. It's quality stuff that will last a lifetime at Hilton Head Furniture, our new sponsor. Base Hit Life, baseball and softball themed apparel. You can get you a hoodie like Max's Calm Your Mitts or any of their other cool styles over at basehitlife.com and live your best base hit life. Dr. Ambrose Cole, official chiropractor. Find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton, and he'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. Reverence Wrestling Club, official wrestling sponsor and presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind. Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country, getting your floors so clean your feet will thank you. And Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. One time gets his haircut in there. I saw him today, cutting that grass. What's happening, boys? Couple of scores or a couple of headlines tonight that I'll throw out to you, and then I am gonna peace out because I gotta get some sleep. But USCB softball with the sweep today. They beat Spartanburg Methodist twice. Spartanburg Methodist just recently making the switch from junior college to D2. USCB beat them 8-4 and 9-1 today, so they got back on track. Other USCB news, perhaps of more interest. The portal has entered the chat. Krishan Atwal, who we dubbed Gumby. He was mostly a reserve wing. Good player, not one of their top players, but in that 10-man rotation, he's in the portal. I saw him post on IG. So we're losing one to the portal, but the portal giveth and the portal taketh away. So I think USCB is going to be a very attractive portal destination this year for basketball.
Especially being that next year will be their first year of eligibility for the NCAA
Correct.
tournament. and stuff.
And what they did this year was a real good sales pitch. A real good sales pitch.
And
you know, Ali Ralat coming from FAU, where he didn't get a lot of run, and being a all conference type player and getting drafted to the Puerto Rican Pro League, like that gives you a little cred, a little
well, then the part of their sales pitch will be that, like, hey, we are playing
the way they play.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, this was the year that they were naturally going to get that recruiting boost anyway.
Well,
but now they also have.
Here's the other thing they'll do with the sales pitches. Yeah, we had a great season. We look forward to having another great season. We didn't lose a whole bunch of players, and we look to improve facilities in the near future.
And it's a fun style of play. And I call your games. You know, I mean, I hope Coach Ron's telling them. And we got this great play-by-play announcer.
But they are.
He's going to give you nicknames.
Because I don't know if this is, I guess, public news or not. They are planning on, at least in the near future, to build a new arena.
Oh yeah, that's in the works. As one.
Is it big enough for us to do our graduation?
Yeah. I mean, that's the plan. There's supposed to be. The plan has always been to kind of mirror the Convocation Center in Aiken.
Perfect.
Maybe scaled down slightly, but something.
So probably like 1,200 seats in there. I would assume something like that.
I think it's more than that in Aiken. I think it's more like 2,000. It's big enough that it hosts the state championship games.
We don't need 2,000 seats.
I would rather it was slightly smaller than that, but I understand why you would build it big enough to host a state championship game.
I would think
it was good recruiting.
I think 1,500, right?
I don't know what the rules are right now, but however big it's got to be to at least host lower state championship games. That's how big I would make sure it was.
Well, the only thing I would say about
championship games.
The only thing I know, location sometimes matters. How far is the closest hotel? The one right to Hampton Inn on the exit? Maybe.
No.
Well, you've got all the hotels at 170 and 278, as well as the hotels at Hardyville Exit 8, and then
next exit
that's
over.
About it. I mean.
No, don't stay at the hotels on exit.
No, you ain't going to exit 5 hotels. Don't go to the exit 5. If you're gonna do that, just go on the Pooler, baby.
The sleazies.
That's where the Hardyville Vikings were checked out.
You say in exit 5, you gonna have a story to tell.
I wouldn't.
Be a newspaper.
Hey man, I don't.
Stop over there and get you some chicken licking, but that's about it. Get on down the road.
I won't say no to hitting up Quick Trip at exit 5, man. I won't say.
Oh yeah, Quick Trip's money.
Oh yeah. Quick Trip, yeah.
Chicken licking is solid too if you got time to wait. They're not in a hurry there. They're not in a hurry.
But they're
not at all. But it's mighty good. There's a new restaurant in one of those hotels, though, that I'm told is pretty good.
Oh yeah,
really? Can't think of the name right now.
Lillian Seafood and Steakhouse.
I'm told it's quite good.
My buddy owns it. Just opened it. Good food, natural seafood, caught from Hilton Head.
Okay, all right, good.
Local seafood. Mm-hmm. But he's not open at lunch yet, right?
No, he did. He tried to do lunch, but he wasn't getting enough business, so he just opened from 4 to 9.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he gives me some kind of cheap lunch special, I'll be there at least once a week. But
well, if we're
I gotta get out of that building at lunch. I can't handle it all day.
I can't.
I'm too ADHD for all that. But that was
Jamal, was the score 1-0 Hilton Head Christian or 2-0?
1-0.
1-0.
They put 2-0 on Max Prep. Shocker.
Liars.
No, it's one. It was one. No. It was 2-0.
Oh, liar. Liar.
It was 2-0. Chad scored both.
Liar.
Chad scored both.
Javon putting false propaganda out here in these streets.
Misinformation.
Chad scored both.
Chaz Brigstock?
Yeah, he scored both.
That one we saw was a banger.
I coached Chaz when he was like 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah, he scored one on both sides on each side.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Was it in the highlights? I didn't even see the second.
I don't think it was. Maybe, I don't know.
It wasn't? I might need to update that then. I might have missed the clip. My bad.
We might have missed it. It's possible. Because we thought the score was 1-0, so We might have not been looking for it.
It was 2-0. It was 2-0. He scored 2.
We might have checked out once we saw the goal, thinking that was the only one. So and started talking about something else.
He scored 2.
Well, hey boys, I'm gonna check out and let whoever wants to hang around chat for a bit longer. And Max, you're gonna shut it down. Turn out the lights when you're done.
Yeah, I got you.
All right,
boys. I like how you set the ambiance. Hey, I like how you set the ambiance for his goodbye too. He like changed the camera level.
Yeah,
there's like the light coming over from the back. The angle, the light change.
Right.
I see you.
Game.
Guys, I'm gonna check out. Angle change.
Score, by the way, I'm not even watching it.
Yeah. What is the score there, JJ? You're still watching.
59-52 Texas, 13-20 to play. We got a good game. Third foul just called on Xavier. Texas only has 2, so we got a lot of fouls to give. Possession arrow in favor of the Longhorns.
Spiro Ditas, rather, along with Jim Spinarkle and John Rothstein with the call for True TV.
Oh, you are on it.
Man,
you are on it. Man's a student of the game.
Trying to tell you.
I'm more of a Sandlot player. I just show up with my glove and go to work.
Me too.
Yeah, you and I are cut from the same cloth, Javon. We're just winging it.
Just wing it, baby.
I'm starting to find a middle ground, but all right, boys, I'm out. Y'all be well. Anybody else need to check out with me? Y'all good?
I'm good for a few more minutes.
I got a few minutes.
All right, boys. Yeah, be well. We'll see you manana. Actually, we'll probably see you Friday because I'll be wiped after coaching.
Won't see me Friday.
I'll be wiped as well.
Be well, boys.
Later, JJ.
Later, man.
Yeah, when I jumped on the Beaver County TV broadcast World Basketball game, just a bunch of papers everywhere. I'm like, yeah, I'm not good. Because I looked at one sheet and I was like, all right, I got that number and that name. So I got to worry about if you throw something at me, I got 2 markers, but don't come in for stats. I'll be like, yeah, sure, yeah.
I will say,
absolutely.
When you were with me on WHHI.
Yeah, like I'm sorry,
you said BCTV.
I saw Marcus's desk this past weekend for USCB baseball games.
That was nothing, Max.
Oh, I know it was nothing.
Gotta get prepared, man.
I've seen worse out of you. I know I've seen worse out of you. And the World
of course
Series
you have.
Part of it. The World Series was part of it. I did see you and Kevin Libby just absolutely.
No, you need to hang out with me more on Friday nights or during high school basketball with WHHI. I waste so many trees. I just cut those things down during football and basketball season in the high school rank.
Listen, I agree with you on that because I have the partnership I have with the Digital Corridor, and there I've ran through so much paper. I just felt like here's a ream of paper. Like I think I owe you guys.
Yeah. What does this belong to? Anybody need this? You don't need it. I'm gonna jot down some notes on it.
I owe you guys some paper. I just put a little extra money in that little donation thing. I just put a little extra $10 in there.
like when I watched when I was with WHHI and I'm sitting because I hung out with you guys for a while after my segment. And I'm just watching, and then when I went to Vaughn, when I helped you guys out, did the Battery Creek game and I'm just sitting, I'm like, play-by-play is no joke.
Yeah,
it's not. Daniel Court said the same thing. He joined me. DC joined me and Kevin at the HHCA Hilton Head Prep game at Prep that we had to start 23. And he was my second quarter guest. Of course, I've been calling football with DC since 21. And, action, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's just me and DC in the second quarter. Kevin, of course, was with me in the first. And at the end of the first half, he turns to me, he says, I can do color with you, and I think you do great with play-by-play with football. But he said, basketball, how the heck do you do that? I mean, just because the action was going back and forth, back and forth. It's something. I've said it. I've said it so many times, and I'll say it again for those of us here that don't know this about me. I did 6 months of hockey when I was in college as an internship, learning hockey, pretty much especially hockey play-by-play. and it was just me learning hockey play-by-play on the fly, which helped me in so many different aspects, especially with my ability to call basketball.
Yeah.
I did baseball. What really helped me out, especially on Friday, was the fact that for 5 years, roughly 5 years, I did baseball by myself because I was the only one that wanted to do it for our student-run campus radio station, 88.9 WRDL Ashland, the home of the Eagles, where radio is dedicated to the listener, and then it became Ashland's alternative.
That quick recall memory
my
right there.
5th year.
Yeah.
That was really good.
There in
That was
2012.
really good, man.
And so yeah, you know, gleaning back on those memories for me over time has really really helped. But I had a blast at USCB over the weekend. Wish we would have got one of them, but I was really impressed with a lot of the phases of the game. And that team's working hard. The record is not good. I will say that, but that team is really working hard. I was very impressed with a lot of what they brought out over Friday and Saturday.
Did they have a game? They may have had a game tonight. We mentioned they had a non-conference game tonight.
So
is that right?
So let me ask you.
I don't recall that.
Let me ask you this, Marcus and Javon. What sport would you say is the most difficult to do play-by-play for you guys, like in your experience?
Talent or knowledge?
I want your answer first.
Just in general, like knowledge is difficult because like Javon, you do every sport. So like you're learning, you're getting better, but like just play-by-play in general. Like let's say all things are equal, you have same level of knowledge. Like which one is the most difficult that you feel to keep up with and like narrate, I guess?
If I felt that the knowledge was the same across all sports, like let's just say imaginary, like, because I was going to say, like, for me right now, it's probably soccer, just because I don't know too much about soccer.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know the difference between the front line, the back line, the defenses, the 3-2-5, or whatever defense you guys like. I don't know these things. Like, there was a big call today that I didn't know. Then in that second half, apparently it was called what did he say? Leslie say from BA. Something about something in the box or something. I forgot what it was, where they passed to the goalie or something like that. I didn't know what it was.
Ball handling, because you can't pick the ball up from your own player.
Yeah, something like that. That's what it was. That's exactly what happened. He picked it up and they called that. Yeah, so they called it. So it was a big call later in the game before he scored the second goal. So that would be that. If it was knowledge, it would probably be soccer. Overall, just talent-wise, I would probably. It might be basketball, just because of knowing because there's so many metrics. If you want to talk about knowing all the metrics, but the flow of the game isn't too bad. I don't know. That's a good question for me. The hardest one to call, because I call so many. That's a tough one. I'm not gonna lie.
I will. So you were talking about just the overall kind of knowledge base and that type of thing, and you didn't get to, like you just said, just kind of the environment and whatnot.
Yeah, it's hard for me.
Mine is easy with an environment, because I've told people that I've done baseball, I've done football, I've done basketball. Those three I've done a ton of. I've done a season of hockey, and I've done a golf match. And I'm just like, what would you think the hardest would be? And everybody says hockey, and I'm like, actually, no.
So there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, golf.
Yeah.
Golf.
Plus,
golf's
hard.
I was out. I don't know if any of you guys, maybe you, Max, because you've been around and doing this, not doing this the longest, but, around this area, working your way up from high school. I was working with Butch Hirsch, if any of you know that name.
Yeah.
You said you did, Max? I had a feeling that you did. I worked with Butch a ton, especially when I was first starting out at WHHI about a decade ago. And it was he and I was doing play-by-play on drives in an amateur tournament at Bear Creek on Hilton Head. And we were literally alongside a bunker trying to stay out of the way. Didn't have binocular. Actually, he had a set of binoculars. I did not. Wasn't like we were perched in a booth. We were literally trying to hide like underneath trees to get out of the way and constantly like looking up in the air, make sure we weren't impaled by golf balls or anything else. And that was tough. And I did the best that I could. You know, Bob Stevens and Chris Tremblay were at the other course, which was the Robert Trent Jones course. And then I was at Bear Creek, like I said. And there may have been another play-by-play guy over at Bear Creek on another set of holes. But that without question, because of the environment, and I mean, it wasn't anybody's fault that we were set up as we were set up. I was just kind of thrown into the wolves, happy to do it, of course. And it was a beautiful day, luckily. So that was easily, of anything that I've called, easily the toughest that I've done.
I would probably agree, because you had to move a lot, right? Like if you're on site, you have to move a lot, right? To cover that.
You would. But the one thing that I've omitted from the story is that I only covered that one hole. So I was there the entire time for the 4 or 5 hours that I was there. That's where I was.
Quiet when you're on mic too.
I just kind of wish that there was a booth or something. And Max is right. I was calling it like this, you know.
Yeah.
Like I was doing a very quiet voiceover. You know,
it'd be like, he's getting his driver out of
it's
the
up in the air and
getting ready to go here. That would be so difficult to do. I can't even. I'm glad I don't do the golf stuff, because golf is hard to play and it's hard to.
It's tricky.
It's hard to commentate too. It's difficult.
And shout out to the guys that are great: Mike Tirico, Dan Hicks, Jim Nance. Terry Gannon.
I feel like hockey is underrated when it comes to commentating. Hockey would be difficult to do because you got to know where the puck is, which is hard as it is. Even while watching it on TV, it's hard to know where the puck is on TV. But being able to, call who passes it to who and who scored and whatnot,
the names.
It's difficult. Yeah.
This was heard all over the country, all over the world. I had so many Russian and French Canadian names that I was firing off,
or some Canadian French names. Some
that's what I said. French Canadian, Russian. It was wild. I loved it though.
Like you
learning on the fly.
You can't memorize every name, and you guys like the funniest thing when Javon did our game, and I remember hearing it because he was like Josh Soccer. His last name's Karachude, and he said Karachude like everybody else does. And then our announcer goes, Joshua Karachude. He's like, Karachude. He picks himself, and I'm like, how are you supposed to like automatically know? And I'm like it's. So the high school league does the state championship broadcast for soccer. So like every year I go up and help. And
even though I'm better, but continue.
If it's a 4A championships, they always call me to go up there and help. And I'm just the third person, and I'm just adding in expertise. And y'all know me, I'm trying to add some jokes in here, just trying to liven it up and everything. Course. But like last year, the play-by-play, I was like, hey guys, can you take over? I gotta go use the brush, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, we got it. And I'm sitting here
like, there too,
bro. Like, am I talking too much? Am I saying too much? Like, do we say enough? What do we let he was like, just let the moments breathe.
Fill the space.
Like, what is that? Space. Let the moments breathe. I don't know what that means. Like, do I stay quiet? But then if it's too quiet, and I'm like, and I'm just sitting, and this was for like 8 minutes.
Here's
guys.
The thing:
8 minutes, and I'm over here like, what the heck am I supposed to do? Do I say everything? Do we do like a radio broadcast, or we just act as this video? And I'm like, and then when he came back, I was like, dude, here you go. I want nothing to do with this play-by-play. I will sit here.
Here's the thing, and I know this. I know this very well.
Yeah.
With the fact that I've been doing this literally since I was in high school, maybe even a little bit longer in terms of calling events. There's spurts, like after a big play, after you finish a call, and you can kind of hear, you typically think about it on radio, but it's the same thing with TV. You hear the audience, you captivate what the audience is thinking, how they're reacting. You let it just envelop the area. That's what letting it breathe kind of means. It's like, I'm just thinking of this now. It's letting a steak rest after it's off the grill. I'm a foodie. I may not look like one that much, but I am. So it's letting a steak that has just been sizzling and grill marks perfectly off the grill. It's letting it rest before you tear into it to make a steak sandwich. It's letting something breathe to get the aromatics of the situation. That's what it is. It's just within the theater of the sport, within the theater of the moment. It's letting the aromatics of the moment envelop, whether it's radio, television, and honestly, it's giving yourself, or myself as a play-by-play guy by heart for so many years, giving us a chance to breathe as well after calling a huge play. That's all it is. And sometimes it can be overthought. The longer you do it, and this works for you too, Javon, because I know you're just a couple years in. The longer you do it, the more you'll be able to gleam off those things and just make it work within, and it'll become like second nature. You'll have a rhythm, you'll have a cadence. And my cadence, Kevin Libby tells me this all the time. It happens, that I'm a singer, that I kind of have a sing-songy cadence. Helps with voiceovers and that type of thing too.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a while, but everything works. Everything works, and the more practice you get, the more it flows naturally.
Well, I'm going to say two things. One, I have my answer now. I've had some time to think about it. I have my answer for Misa. And then two, I was going to say the hardest part for me that's different that a lot of viewers don't understand, you guys know, is that my commentary isn't as smooth as it could be because I'm also the cameraman and the producer and the score.
Without question. I mean, you do it all.
So I can't really focus because it was awesome.
What you do, that's nuts.
Yeah. So it was awesome when I had my my cousin. She's playing softball right now for Bridges, batting 500 right now. Granted, but it's Bridges, but still. But she was helping out doing the camera for football and basketball season, and it was so awesome because while she was doing that, that was one less thing I had to worry about. But then I always still had to worry about the stream health and cueing the graphics and all of those things like that. So I can never really 100% focus, all my energy on, commentating. So that is always a hard thing to do. But yeah, it takes moments, man. It's about knowing when those moments are. You know what I'm saying? Knowing, being ready. Especially, I love when I get, spring is terrible because I try to cover so many teams in a little bit of time. Whereas, the fall and the winter, sometimes I can cover a team like 2 to 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And by that second to third time, it's awesome because I know the players by their look, not by their jersey number. I don't got to be like, who's that 13, 13, and then, call their name. I know who they are by their look. And it makes the commentary so much better.
Yeah.
And then
yeah, I was going to say the other thing that took a load off for you during the fall and winter sports season is having Tristan with you as well.
Oh my God, yeah,
so good.
I think having Tristan there, which is why if there's ever a day when I could do a baseball game with you, like I'd love to do play-by-play while you be able to take a load off, be able to run everything and do color commentary on the side, so you could take a load off. Which is, I
will tell you this: it's you guys. Anybody is always welcome on the stream. I will only say that I always prioritize students first. So if I have students with me, I'm going to give them the platform. Right. If I don't have a student, you got it.
Yeah. So, that's the whole point. That's the whole point you do. That's what you do. You give students a chance to be able to, if they're interested in doing that for a future career, you give them the chance to do that. And I think that's That's, I think, what we try to do here on LowcoSports. You know, we try to reach out to kids who want to hop on with us and learn how to do this stuff. I think that's always important. And I think, you know, being that we have the people in this area who have the experience of doing that, I think is always a huge help to some of these kids who say, hey, yeah, I want to do sports broadcasting for a living. And I think that's something that, because I know that because it's helped me in being able to continue and start my career really. And doing what I'm doing now. And I think doing this along with, you know, doing Beaver Zone with Javon and then getting the chance to do USCB baseball and softball games, which I never thought I'd ever get the chance in the first year of me doing sports broadcasting that I'd get to cover a college team. Like, that's how much the community supports the young talent in terms of broadcasting. I think it's great.
Right. Absolutely it is. No doubt.
Yeah.
So, and my answer, Misa, is I think a no-hitter or a low-scoring baseball game.
I wouldn't.
That's a rough call.
I called a lot of those in college.
That's a rough call. There's not much to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like other games when it's low scoring, there's plenty to talk about. Like, there's so much action in a football play. Even if the score is 0-0, there's so much action, so many big hits, interceptions, turnovers. You know what I'm saying? Volleyball, there's never really low scoring. You can tell if the teams are bad, but you can still just commentate on what they're doing. Wrestling, you always talk about the moves. Basketball, you know, there's not really low scoring. There's going to be a lot of missed shots. Somebody got to get something going. But soccer, you know, soccer is always low scoring. Shots on goals, the oohs and the they miss. Ooh, you know. But with baseball, like, if it's a no-hitter, like, if the pitchers, like, if no one can make contact or all your fly balls are caught or they're thrown out at first base, there ain't really much to talk about in baseball.
I will say, and I even did this, you know, Kevin was great. Kevin didn't join me for USCB on the weekend. Friday, I did the game by myself, and then the schedule got switched around with the guy that joined me. And he was on color both games Saturday. So Kevin came out on Saturday, and a big shout out to Turner Owens. He's a terrific young guy, and I think a great young color commentator because he played the game. I threw some questions at him that I think even surprised him. And he's got a great career ahead of him, no doubt, whichever path he wants to take with it. But you got to come up with some different things and some obscure things. Kevin was coming up with, you know, populations of the towns that the kids were from and that type of thing.
Liv's an encyclopedia, man.
In one of my calls, talking about, I forget who was pitching, but that he had a little extra, like Serrano, or did I say like the heat of a habanero on a pitch? And Kevin Libby didn't even hesitate. He looked up the Scoville scale of peppers, and I was talking about that for like 2 minutes.
That is Kevin, man.
Kev,
I mean, he just went with it, and boom.
Kev is an encyclopedia, man, and he keeps me entertained. Sometimes when he hops on strings, it's like a medium. It's like what's it called? An invasive species. So when Kevin hops on a stream, he takes over the comment box so much, and it's like it's so awesome. It's awesome, but it's like, God dang, man, like, chill out, bro. Like, but it's awesome because
take a chance, man.
Especially if there's games where like the comment is low, or Tristan wasn't there, or you know, and I'm just by myself, or if it's a sleeper of a game and then Lib chimes in and it's like, all right, cool, now I can talk to Lib. You know what I'm saying? There was only one time where I thought he went too far in the comments. But other than that, his information is always great. Huh?
He always does that every now and then. Every now and then, he has a comment that I'm like, no.
I forgot what it was. It was like, I think it was like the history of Bishop England, and it was like about race or something like that. And I'm like, hey, I was like looking at him, and I'm like, hey, bro. And I'm like, hey, chill. But other than that, man, he's always been awesome. I always enjoy him in the comments. It keeps me entertained. For sure.
He's that. I've been working with him for the better part of a decade, 11 years. He's that. He's definitely entertaining.
The best thing I've ever seen is when Kevin and Marcus were at the World Series in Beaufort at Burton Wells last year. Those two for the 4 or 5 days we did baseball was
we were there for 3.
Yeah, y'all were there for 3, and it was
long
hilarious
days
to watch. It was we had some long days there. That Saturday we had holy crap! God, it was
that was a long day.
Well, our crew was asked at the last minute, so me and Tristan just showed up all willy nilly, and it's like, well, do we have the stats of these teams? Who are these players?
We had rosters, but that was literally it. Again, that's high school. So high school kids. Actually, less than high school.
Yeah.
We're talking like junior highs. It's 13, 14-year-old kids. So no stats, rosters, and there was anything else we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, Javon, that was the first time I met Tristan. Was that World Series when he?
I think so. Yeah.
When you and him showed up, and but yeah, I remember. God, that Saturday was a long day because I got there. I swear I got there at probably 7:30 in the morning, and then me and Alex did the last game of that night, and we got out of there at 2 a.m.
Yeah, that game was supposed to be Kevin and I at Field 1.
And then I came back.
I couldn't
dumb enough to come back at 8 a.m. the next morning.
Right.
I came back at 8 a.m. the next morning.
Yeah, we all did.
I was stupid, but I was willing to do it because I had nothing better to do. I was off of work, but hey, why not? Tire myself out to where that next day I was just sleeping the entire day.
I'm going to log off.
Virgo was awesome.
I'm going to log off because
I
have to do Special Olympics tomorrow morning at May River.
I will see you there.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll be.
So here, let's sign off on the show because I think we've talked enough tonight, fellas. I got my first baseball game tomorrow too for Hardyville High School, so we got.
Can I say this one thing though?
Yeah.
I was gonna laugh about what you were saying about staying up for baseball super late that night at 2 a.m. Because I remember calling with Thomas over a year ago. We called him baseball. And it was the playoffs. It was to go to the state bracket with Beaufort and Gilbert. And it went like 12, 14 innings or something like that. So we were there for like 4 to 5 hours. Like that was like the longest baseball game ever. And once it went past, like he was super excited because Thomas is like a super fan freak. He's one of those, like, if he touches, like, he has that USCB. If Shane Beamer touches his hand, he's like, oh, my God, he touched my hand. Like, he's one of those. And, like, once it went past, like, the 10th inning, every inning, Thomas was freaking out. Thomas was like, it's a school night. I have to go to bed. Like, it's a school night. Like, and I'm like, Thomas, this is playoff baseball. What are you talking about? He's like,
please let this end.
It was the most hilarious thing.
We could talk about some memories we have all night long, but unfortunately, I think our time has come to end the show. So with that being said, we'd like to thank everyone who watched tonight. Thank you guys. Thank you, viewers, for watching us and continuing to support us here on Loco Sports, continuing to support Javon Livingston with Beaufort's Own. And then we thank you for thank our sponsors for everything they do to support us and keep us going and growing. And I thank you, fellas, Marcus Walsh, Misa, Javon. I appreciate you guys, as well as Justin Jarrett, who hopped off earlier. Thank him for doing what he does to keep this thing that we do every night going.
Crazy train.
Yes. So that is going to end it for us. And we will probably not be on tomorrow night because me and Justin Jarrett have games tomorrow night, and there's a bunch of other stuff going on in the Loco Sports area. So we will be back to reconvene on Friday night. Expect anywhere from 9 to 9:30 start here on the Loco Sports Lowdown. So from Misa Betrolin, Misael Garzon, Javon Livingston, Marcus Walsh, Justin Jarrett, I'm Max Arraj. And until next time, go.
The Loco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Loco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LocoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Loco!